Thank you guys so much for coming out to our new WIPA for 2015. And I want to start by saying thank you so much for the people in this room. We are still a new organization and we are growing and finding our sea legs, and to be here during Cater Source and to still have a great turnout and to have people be excited and motivated to come down to this property specifically. I'm a big fan. I love the fact that there's so much going on downtown. When I moved here 20 years ago, this was a cautionary tale. And my father, gave me in very stern words that I was never to go down to old Las Vegas. And now it's a destination. And I think that it has a lot to do with people who are really regenerating it, like the downtown brand. And it's a beautiful building with so much to offer. And as an organization, we are thrilled to present it to you today. I wanted to thank our sponsors, obviously the downtown brand, and then we have Floral Couture, Floral 2000. We've got Annabelle's Cool Creative Coverings, Shutter Booth. Adam Frazier is on photography. We have Memory Lane doing video for us. We've got the Paper Flower Girls, Sound Fusion, Peridot Suites, and I don't believe I've left anyone out, but if I did, Creative Coverings, who presented us with the Boys in Choo Choos. So thank you so much to everyone. Champagne Creations. See? That's what happens when you give me champagne at 11 a.m. So today we have Taryn Pollack, and she's going to be our speaker. She's going to talk to us about spring cleaning your business. And I also like to think, after talking to her for a little while this morning, that these are some great ideas about spring cleaning your life. This is March Madness, which is not a sports reference to those of us in weddings. It's really about what happens to the season and to brides, and not just to our businesses, but to our personal lives in general. We are thrilled to have her here. Thank you so much for coming, and please enjoy her.
Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to all of you. I'm so excited to see all of you here. I'm very excited to be a part of this because I'm part of the WIPA Phoenix chapter, and I'm one of the board members down in Phoenix. You guys are just a little bit behind us. We started, I think, about a year before you, so it's super awesome to see this type of awesomeness going on in other parts of the country, because I've seen what we've done in Phoenix, and to see you guys just right behind us and the caliber of event that you're putting together is just so awesome. And I'm really excited to be one of the founding members of WIPA Phoenix and to see what you guys are doing here. So let's get started. We are gonna spring clean your business, and I'm gonna help you today rejuvenate your brand. So we're just gonna jump right in. So who am I? I am Taryn Pollack. I am the expansion strategist. Feel free to check me out at taryn-pollack.com. So here's a skinny on me. I went to Arizona State University. I'm actually from the Bay Area. I was born and bred in San Jose, California, but I moved down to Arizona to go to Arizona State University. I graduated from the Walter Cronkite School of Broadcast Journalism. I thought I was gonna be like the next Katie Couric. Like, I thought I was totally gonna be on the Today Show. And then the harsh realities of broadcast television news actually set in, and I was like, whoa, this is not for me. So I am not Katie Couric. I wish I kind of was with her money, but whatevs. So I did end up starting my career in television. I was in television news, but then I quickly realized that just was not for me at all. I was super not that news girl. Something about making 13 grand a year being in Podunk, Iowa was just not for me. So my best friend at the time, she told me I needed to get into advertising sales. She said I was a sales girl. And to me, I was like, I'm so not like used car sales. Like, this is not for me. But I followed her into advertising sales. And I loved it. I sold Howard Stern for years. And I do not look like a Howard Stern listener, but I am an avid Howard Stern listener. And I absolutely loved everything about it. And it made me a lot of money, and it was great. And then that same best friend got into pharmaceutical sales. And she's like, yo, you need to come sell drugs. And I was like, all right. So I followed her into pharmaceutical sales. And so I sold drugs, legal ones, for a number of years. But what I quickly realized is that the corporate life just wasn't for me. And I have a feeling by looking at these personalities in this room, it's not for you guys either. So we've all kind of gone out on our own. And it turns out they don't like people like me in corporate America. People with opinions, who say what's on their mind. They want you just to do what they're telling you to do. That's not this girl right here. So I went out on my own. And because of my broadcast major and my just knowing how to tell a story and really being focused on television news, I actually started Serendipity Cinematography and Simply Cinema in Phoenix, Arizona. I married my love of telling stories with weddings, and I started a wedding film company. So 9 years later, I've sold over 1,000 wedding films. We have done, gosh, it's amazing. What started out as something just kind of this little thing turned into something bigger and brighter than I ever dreamed it could be. The word serendipity means to find something great by accident, and that's exactly how it came about. And little by little, it just grew from there. And before you knew it, I had married off a number of friends who had sisters, who had friends, and here I was still schlepping my drugs because I needed benefits. It was before Obamacare. And so I one day was like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it. And everyone was like, you're gonna go do what? And here I was in my corporate job making well over 6 figures. I had my company car, my expense account, a 401k, like benefits, the whole deal. And everyone was like, you're gonna go do what? And I was like, I'm gonna go sell some wedding films. And so I jumped off. And 9 years later, I've sold over 1,000 wedding films. I own Serendipity Cinematography and Simply Cinema in Phoenix. The interesting thing about me, though, is I don't shoot or edit any of those films. I know how to shoot, but I found out very, very early on, my passion was actually the business. I loved the logistics. I loved meeting with the couples. I loved the sales. I loved the marketing. I loved the strategy. So I don't shoot or edit a damn thing, which is very, very interesting. I'm so fascinated by that because I still sell to people all the time and I'm not even the one working their wedding. So I've been in sales now for 15 years. I've been told I could sell a sweater to a person on a 110-degree day. So whether or not that's good or not, I'm just gonna roll that it's good, that it was a compliment, but I'm not sure. So what I figured out though was that I have a passion for business, and in the last year, I started a sales coaching business. I am an expansion strategist, as notated earlier, and I help creatives expand their business. So that's my newest venture, because apparently I'm not busy enough with 2 children and 2 different businesses, because I'm crazy. So that's the skinny on me. So what are you gonna learn today? I'm gonna teach you a step-by-step process on how to make the old new again. This topic couldn't be more perfect for this venue. As we cruised in today, I just saw all of the rejuvenation and the new life that's being brought to downtown Vegas, and I was like, God, what a great topic. So I'm gonna talk to you about what items need constant rejuvenation with our businesses and why rejuvenating your business is so important. Then I'm gonna teach you how to work it into your workflow, the rejuvenation process. So let's get started. All right, so here's the problem. We as creatives get so caught up in working in the business that we never work on the business. She said it perfectly. This is March Madness. In Phoenix, we're the same way. From basically February to the end of May, we are just nonstop. You guys are even crazier than us though, because this is a destination, you are all year round. So what happens? You just get caught up in your business, making your florals, shooting your weddings, shooting your films, creating the creations, and then we just neglect our business. So it's really actually bad for us. And I sit with coaching clients almost weekly, and I'm reviewing all their collateral materials and their website, and I find that they say to me all the time as they're reviewing everything, oh, well, that's old. Oh, well, gosh, that's really old. I mean to update that for a really long time. Oh my gosh, that wedding is like 3 years old. Then why is that on your website? That's not your best work. And so what I'm finding is that more and more of us just really don't make time to energize our business, to rejuvenate it, to take it to the next level, because we are busy, which is a good problem to have, but it's something that's really hurting all of our brands. So we never take the time to update or to refresh the very elements that keep the phone ringing and that keep the inquiries coming in. So that's not a good thing for us. For some reason, our businesses take the lowest priority, which I just don't get, but we're gonna change that today. That all changes today. So the solution, we fix problems that we understand. If we know why we're doing something or why it's happening, we generally will be a lot more inclined to actually fix it. So I think by teaching you today why it's so important, I know that we can actually take action to stop this issue from being an issue. So I'm going to show you those easy steps on how to stay on top of your brand and keep it fresh. Adding these rejuvenations to your workflow must be manageable. If it's not manageable, we all know it's just not going to be done. So that is our solution. So what is rejuvenation? To rejuvenate means to make something feel and look new, healthy, and young again. It means to bring energy back to something. It means to give new strength to something. I really like the word rejuvenation. It just sounds pretty. Like it sounds springy. It just sounds positive and has a really good aura about it. So I really wanted to focus on that word throughout this presentation today. Why is rejuvenation important? It's important for so many reasons. First and foremost, it helps you show your best work to your potential clients. It helps you maintain relevant and competitive in the marketplace. The market and the styles and the trends are always changing, so your business needs to be changing too. So that's why rejuvenation is important. It helps keep the creative juices flowing, and it helps re-energize you. And it helps you not get complacent and bored with your business. How many of you sit in your offices all the time and you're like, ugh, for the love of all that's holy, this bride wants another blah, blah, blah. And you've done that 62 times before. And you're like, ugh, sweet Christ, enough of the plum, or whatever that color scheme is that's just making your life miserable. So if we rejuvenate our businesses, it helps you not get complacent. It helps you not be bored and really gets those creative juices flowing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my rejuvenation journey, is what I'm going to call it. In 2005, I started Serendipity Videography. Notice the word videography. It was me and my husband. We worked out our processes and realized very quickly that in order to grow, we needed teams. So here began my journey of what I'm going to call constant rejuvenation. So there's my first logo in 2005. It's heinous, but whatever. We all have our beginnings, right? So rejuvenation 1. This was creating teams. We started adding to our staff and creating processes so that we could film more than one wedding a day. So at the time, it was my husband and myself, and we're filming all these weddings. And I was like, okay, well, Phoenix, we have 52 weeks in a year. Phoenix, 6 months of that is gone because it's hotter than friggin' hell. And then the other part of the year, it's like Christmas and people aren't really doing the wedding thing in Phoenix. So already that cut my year in half. So I quickly realized in order for us to make some real money and for me to leave my pharmaceutical job, we needed to start operating in teams. So I started hiring people. I knew if we did this, we could really get to the place that we really wanted to be. So this was rejuvenation number 1. These were all my peeps back then. We've since grown to about 25 people, but this was back then when we first started our teams. Rejuvenation 2, and I know you guys more than anyone will understand this one. Arizona and Vegas and Florida were hit the hardest by our economic downturn. So in 2009, as you know, the economy really went into the pooper, and wedding budgets just weren't what they used to be. And I had people calling me being like, so I have $1,500, and like our prices were quite a bit more than that for Serendipity. What can you do for me? And so I would say, nothing. Good luck to you, because I didn't get out of the car for under $3,000 at that point. So I was like, good luck, peace. Well, then I started thinking, geez, you know, because my $3,000 to $5,000 clients were kind of drying up at that point. So I started thinking like, oh my God, we got to figure this out. I got to capture this marketplace or else we're going to kind of sit stagnant until we get through this economic downturn. So I came up with Simply Cinema. God, that's a heinous looking like yellow. It's prettier than that. Look at it on the website, I promise. So that is Simply Cinema. It became my Nordstrom rack. So I had my Serendipity, it was my Nordstrom. And I had my Simply Cinema, and it was my Nordstrom rack. And it really helped keep the phone calls coming, keep the bookings coming, keeping the weddings coming when the budgets just weren't there for a couple years. You guys know more than anybody, things got tough there. So we created Simply Cinema to be able to handle and keep booking and keep growing and keep growing. So now Simply Cinema has grown into a cult brand, so much so that I don't even advertise it at all anymore. It's kind of this hidden secret. Serendipity is my bread and butter, and that's really where I want to put my muscle. But I've got this other brand in case I have a couple who's like, you know what, we really just don't want to invest that much in video. We want something a little bit more simplified. Boom, Simply Cinema. So now I can cover the videography market in Phoenix from roughly about $2,000 up to about $6,000 or $7,000. So great, more revenue. Everybody's happy, and I quit my pharma job. So that was rejuvenation number 2. Rejuvenation number 3, you notice the word changed from videography to cinematography. We found out after a few years that what we were doing was evolving. I saw a trend in the marketplace, I saw what different cinematographers were doing, and really the crux behind Serendipity is storytelling. Since I come from broadcast journalism, I love the story. So I realized we were telling stories. We weren't just shooting videos. And I needed my brand to actually depict that. So we changed our name from Serendipity Videography to Serendipity Cinematography, because what we were doing was actually creating films, and I wanted my brand to represent that. Rejuvenation 4, and this one was a bitch, I will tell you. The divorce. The husband and wife team was no longer. We were branded as a husband and wife team. It was Taryn and Jeff, Jeff and Taryn, the sweet, happy couple. Happy couple no longer. Jeff is gone. So I was in a situation. I'm like, okay, so we're getting a divorce and we're a husband and wife team and everyone knows us as a husband and wife team. Shit, what are we gonna do? And everybody knows that ex-husbands and ex-wives probably shouldn't own a business together. So we parted ways and he signed it over to me and I took it over. And as you know, divorces, mine was a good one, pretty amicable, still the worst damn thing I've ever been through. It was just really hard. It was a really exciting time though, in a weird, creepy, wrong way. I kind of felt like for all the years that him and I owned the business together, the brand was shared by the both of us. So it had kind of a look that fit the both of us. And when we went through our divorce, I saw this as a blank slate. I was like, oh my God, I can pink this mother up. I can put sparkles on it, I can get all crazy. And so it actually was an incredible rejuvenation for me. And also it was a rebirth. I'd come through a divorce, I'd come through on the other end and I was good and I was okay and him and I were in a good place. And so it was really actually, as painful as it was exciting for me because I finally got to take the business where I really wanted to take it. Before, I couldn't have made this our website when him and I were owning the business together. That wouldn't have been fair. And so I really got to do what I wanted to do with it. So that was actually really exciting. Since it was a female-owned company, I wanted it to have a sassy female flair. So I think that I accomplished that there. While it was painful, it was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me. My business has done this since I got rid of that 250 pounds. So, Rejuvenation 5. So we're 3 years post-divorce now, woohoo! And I found that Serendipity and Simply Cinema, they were a well-oiled machine. I had 6 teams of cinematographers, everything was rolling along, I was in a good place with everything, and so I'm like, all right, what can I do now? Because I'm someone who can't just hang out and enjoy things. I have to go to the next level and push myself, super type A. So Rejuvenation 5, and I launched TarynPollack.com, the expansion strategist. This was just something I wanted to do for myself. I just needed a personal fulfillment. Is it gonna make me a ton of money? No, that's okay though, that's not the point. The point was opportunities like this, to be able to speak to people like you and share that business knowledge that I have. A lot of what I found in the industry is that creatives know how to create, but they don't know how to necessarily be business owners. No one taught us how to run a business. We know how to create amazing paper backgrounds for that photo booth out there. We know how to create amazing florals, but we don't necessarily know how to run the business. So I saw a real need in the marketplace for someone to actually share some business knowledge. So this was my rejuvenation number 5. And it's just something just for me and something that's super fun for me. So that is my story of rejuvenation. So let's make your story of rejuvenation. Let's make old new again. So one thing that's really important for you to understand is that rejuvenation is continuous. It's a mindset. We need to switch our thinking to know that it's something that's ongoing. I don't want you just to think about rejuvenation today. I want it to be something that you move forward and be like, okay, this is something I constantly need to be doing. It's important to understand that you need to be looking at your brand constantly and evaluating its relevance. It's an ongoing process that needs to be scheduled into your workflow, just like you would payroll or taxes. You know those things that are mundane that you have to do every month or every couple of weeks or every quarter? This is the same way. Rejuvenating your business needs to be something that we're constantly doing. So it does definitely take it needs to take a better mindset in our mind that this is something that needs to be constant. It's important to understand that your brand is how you connect with potential clients. It needs to be of utmost importance. And the funny thing is, our brand is what we put out there, yet it's the thing we spend the least amount of time on. So how do you rejuvenate? You first need to determine what needs to be rejuvenated. One of the things that's always sort of a danger zone for us as creatives is we bite off more than we can chew. So I don't want to do that today. What I want you to do is be thinking in your mind the top 3 priorities, and let's tackle them one at a time. I'm going to go over a whole list of different things that you could be working on to rejuvenate, and eventually you want to factor all of those into your workflow, but let's not get crazy, because if you get crazy, you won't accomplish any of it. So we only want to tackle them one at a time. So let's think about those top 3. Think about that in your mind right now, the 3 things that you really kind of feel like you need to work on in your business. Then we need to systemize those elements that you have decided to rejuvenate, and hopefully I can help you do that. Systems are good because they help us manage these mundane tasks in an easy and attainable way. If you don't have a system, you're not going to do it. If you just kind of sit there and you're like, oh, I need to blog today, it just kind of goes by the wayside. Phone call happens, 16 emails come in, client meeting, what have you, you will not do it. So I'm going to help you hopefully do that. The other thing is we need to set realistic goals. We all have tons we could be doing. Don't take on too much. If you aren't going to do it well, don't do it at all. That's why I'm really encouraging you to just pick 3, because the problem is you're going to get stretched too thin, and then everything's going to be crappy and everything suffers. So I just want you to pick the top 3 and let's build from there. So what needs rejuvenation in your business? And some of these things, they're not mind-blowing by any means. It's not like I'm super duper smart or any smarter than any of the rest of you, but they're things that maybe you just need a kick in the pants on. A lot of times when you walk away from these sessions, it's really about just coming away with a couple of pearls, things that really you walk away and you're like, oh, I need to be doing better at that. So let's talk about what needs rejuvenation. What I'm going to do is go through a series of things that I would love to hit on your calendar so that you know that you need to rejuvenate them every week, every month, every 6 months, every quarter, every year, whatever that is. And let's hopefully pick our top 3 from this list. So first and foremost, your social media. Social media is amazing, but it's a real pain in the ass. I mean, it is, let's just be honest about it. A lot of us too are a little sketchy on it. We're kind of like this whole Instagram thing, like what do I do? How do I do it? How do I follow people? How do I regram? Those sorts of elements. It's really kind of a new beast for most of us in this room. We're not like 22 and we didn't grow up on this stuff. It's something that's come into our life a little bit later. Managing social media is a job in itself, but this needs to be your most current and up-to-date work, and it needs to be updated weekly. I update my social media daily. How I did that is I delegated that to people on my staff, because I cannot blog, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I cannot do it all. I cannot do it all. So I have a person on each of my staff handling each element of that. So delegation is key. The thing, why I focus a lot on social media is you have to remember, most of us in this room, we're starting to age out of our bride. We're starting to age out of our couple. We've got a lot of 20-somethings, early 30-somethings, and so as time goes on, we are aging out of them. A lot of the couples that we're selling to now are millennials. How do they shop? Pinterest, Instagram, instant, quick, fast. That's where they're getting a lot of their information. So that's why I'm focusing on your social media as something that you need to be updating daily. Do you have to be across all platforms? Again, if you're not going to do it well, don't do it. So pick a couple of platforms that you know you can do well. Instagram, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's blogging, whatever that is, we need to make sure that your social media is being updated daily or every couple of days. So that's something that's really important to think about. So the biggest piece of advice on this, set a social media calendar. This has saved me. If I actually schedule time in my calendar, and normally I like to do my stuff first thing in the morning, I will do Facebook and Instagram daily with our brand, and I blog once a week, because blogging, you know, it's tough. Blogs don't have sort of the traction that they used to have, but you still got to have one because that's how people are looking at your current work. And so I only blog once a week now with my brands, but Pinterest for me happens on Wednesdays. That's when I load my new movie trailers or different things I need to be doing. But if you set a calendar, your chances of it being successful are a lot greater. So let's say Monday morning, we're going to Facebook. Tuesday morning, we're going to Instagram. Wednesday, we're going to Pinterest. If it's in the calendar, it's actually going to happen. The important thing too about your social media is you need to make sure it's consistent with your brand. I can't tell you how many times I sit down with a coaching client and their Instagram looks this way, and their Facebook looks this way, and their logos aren't matching, and things are not consistent. You're trying to create consistency across the platform for these millennials who are shopping for your services, so we need to make sure everything looks the same so they can actually make the connection. It takes an average of 3 times of someone to hit your brand before an actual call to action. So if they see you on Pinterest and your logo and brand is consistent, and they see you on Instagram and your logo and brand is consistent, and they see you on Facebook and it's consistent, boom, that's the 3rd hit, and your chances of getting a phone call or an inquiry are a lot higher. A social media presence is necessary in this day and age and needs to be maintained regularly. I know it sucks, I know it's super annoying, but if you don't have the time to do it, delegate it to someone on your staff, or another idea is bring in an intern. These interns are super young and they get the whole social media thing probably more than a lot of us do. Bring those in. So that needs to be done daily. Your publication submissions. Submissions are tough, guys, I get it. They're time consuming. It's hard to commit to them because they don't always get picked up, but they are something that needs rejuvenation. A good goal for submissions is 1 every 1 to 2 months. Let's not get crazy, let's not overwhelm ourselves, but we each can designate a day, a month, to maybe work on our submissions. That's definitely a good, reasonable goal. Target a new publication every month. So maybe the first month, it's Style Me Pretty. Maybe the next month, it's Grace Armand. Maybe the next month, it's a local publication. If your submission isn't picked up, have 2 others as backup options. Again, I'm teaching you systems here, because if you have a system and you have steps, it's very easy to implement. Having current work out there exposes more people to your brand and shows you've got things going on. So while submissions are kind of a pain, they're also awesome. Like, how great is it when you get those emails from Style Me Pretty and they're like, hey, we're featuring your wedding on June 28th at 7 o'clock. There's awesome things you can do with that. You can pimp it out on social media, on Instagram, or let people know on Facebook that that's happening, or you can blog about it. It is awesome to see your work out there. More than that, though, it exposes your brand. So when it does get picked up, it takes your brand to a lot of people that you wouldn't otherwise reach. So your publication submissions, let's do those once a month. So that's another rejuvenation. Your online presence. This one's a biggie. Anywhere that you're advertising needs to be checked every 3 months. So I actually have it in my calendar at the beginning of each quarter. I check everywhere where my brand is. What am I checking for? I'm checking for current videos. I want to switch out my videos. I'm checking for making sure all my logos, making sure all my pictures are the right, everything looks right. But really what I'm doing when I'm going to those publications or my online presence is I am making sure that I'm switching my stuff out. I'm refreshing it. I'm rejuvenating it. I'm putting new videos up. I'm putting new pictures up. I'm putting new content up. This includes your own website and all of the places you advertise online. They all need to have current work, current pricing, and current promotions. So it's really important, though, on your website. Remember, people find you online and then they go to your website. If they see work that's 2 years old, 3 years old, what do you think that tells them? That tells them, first and foremost, are they still in business? Are they still around? Wow, they haven't blogged in 6 months. I wonder what's going on with them. And it gets them to feel nervous. That's very important in this market because you guys have so much destination. A lot of your clients never meet you until the wedding day or maybe a trip that they make here to town like a month or 2 before they actually have their wedding here. So you need to make sure your work is current and that it is constantly being updated because it's gonna make your clients feel a lot more comfortable because they do not get to have a face-to-face interaction with you, oftentimes until a lot closer to the wedding. So we need to make sure that everything is current. Set a reminder in your calendar to take a peek at them and make sure they're the best representation of your brand. I don't know about you, but films that we did 6 months ago, I know I have newer stuff, more current stuff, things that I like a lot better. Our style and our taste changes. So if your style is changing and your brand is evolving and your work is evolving, put that out there. It's really important that it's the best representation of your work. Make sure you're updating any pictures and updating any accolades. A lot of you guys get mentioned in publications or you win different awards. That stuff needs to be updated. You want people to know that the last award you won wasn't back in 2010. They want to know that you're still winning awards, that you're still moving your brand forward. So your online presence needs to be checked every 3 months. Put it in your calendar. Your advertisements. I cannot tell you how many times I sit with people and they show me, and I always have them show me all their ads, and their ads aren't consistent. It looks this way in one ad, looks this way in another ad, and looks this way in another ad. I'm not talking about shapes and sizes. I'm talking about actual content. You need to be picking your ad campaign and sticking with it. You need to make it stick for a year. How do you think that Pepsi has gotten such brand awareness, or Coca-Cola, or Las Vegas as a brand? Everything they pick sticks for a period of time. Most of the time, it's generally 1 to 2 years. They will hold on to a campaign for that amount of time because it takes that long for people to recognize the brand. The same needs to be true for you. Make sure that your ads are all consistent across all platforms so that people can identify with your brand and recognize, hey, I just saw them on the preferred vendor list, but then I also saw them on Style Me Pretty, but then I also saw them on that publication that I picked up when I was in town. Make sure that you're sticking with it. Your client experience. This needs rejuvenation, and it needs rejuvenation every year. My slow time in Phoenix is in the summer. So in the summer, I'm always reevaluating my process. That includes your collateral materials, that includes your business cards, your welcome packet to clients, your processes, all your communications, as well as your packaging and what a client receives at the end of their experience with you. All of these need to be evaluated yearly to make sure that it's the best experience possible for your couples. If you don't have some of these things in place, and you don't feel like you're not sure where it's going, we need to take the time to redesign it. There's got to be a time in your guys' market where things are a little bit slower, where you can kind of breathe a little bit. That's the time that you want to do this. You want to evaluate your experience with your client from beginning to end. So every year at June, I sit down and I go, okay, let me reevaluate the email that goes to an inquiry. I need to update the work. I need to update the pricing. Should I restructure this? Should I reword it? Then I take a look at the questionnaire that my client has sent. Then I take a look at the welcome packet that I send to them. Then I take a look at our packaging that I send to them. All of those things need to be consistent through and through, and they need to be updated. You want a fresh look. You want a fresh brand. You want things to really be indicative of the style that you are doing. And if you don't like what you have, redesign it. Remember, what you put out there is what you're going to attract. So if what you're putting out there was from 2010, well, then you're going to be attracting a bride whose taste is maybe 5 years old. You want to be moving forward with couples that are evolving or that are more your style and your taste. So the client experience is very indicative of that. We need to rock it with our welcome packet, with our packaging, with our deliverables, with our thank you cards. So that takes a little bit more time. So you definitely want to pick that during a time of year when you're a little bit slower, but it definitely needs to be done once a year. So you need to rejuvenate your client experience. Your overall brand. Your brand needs to be evaluated and updated every 3 years. It doesn't necessarily have to be an overhaul, but definitely a refresher. So with my brand, I'm in going on year 3. So this summer, I will definitely take a look. Under Serendipity, the cinematography font is definitely a more hip font for right now. And you've seen that font on a lot of different blogs and things and different websites. But that font's probably not going to stay forever. So this year, I'm probably going to want to switch that out. I really like my Serendipity. That fits me perfectly. But the cinematography might need to be switched out a little bit. Your overall brand definitely needs to be looked at every 3 years. You want to be sure that it's representing where you are personally and professionally right now. Like all of our tastes and our styles and things change. So we want to make sure that our brand changes right along with us. You also want to let your clients know the type of work that they can expect from you. So if you're having more current work out there, they know what they're going to see and what they like. So your overall brand needs to be evaluated. If you've never done a brand overhaul and you're 5 years or older, now's the time. You need to do a brand overhaul. If your brand has been out there and everyone's seen it for 5 years, it definitely needs a new, fresh look. So every 3 years, you need to look at it. If you've done some updating, if you haven't done any updating at all, we definitely need to do that. Okay, so media for your brand. If you don't have current headshots, those need to be updated every 1 to 2 years. We need to rejuvenate our look. Have you changed your hairstyle since 2010? Probably. Have you changed it since 2012? Probably. So we definitely want to be updating our headshots every 1 to 2 years. If you don't have a headshot, you need to get one. And this is not a selfie in your car with your seat belt. Like, that's not what I'm thinking. Like, I'm thinking you guys know plenty of professional photographers in this town. We've got one in the back of the room who's a sponsor today. He would be happy to work with you on these to get you something that's current and fresh. So you really want to be making sure that that is something that you're doing. If you don't have a promo film, you must have one. In this day and age, with Instagram, with 15-second films, with Facebook, where you can load lengthy films, video is where it is at. And I'm not just saying that because I own a video company. It's just where it is at. You need to be exercising that medium. This is definitely something that you want to take on maybe in a time of the year when you're a little bit slower, but don't get overwhelmed with it. A lot of times people shy away from promo films for a couple different reasons. They don't like the way they sound on camera. They don't like the way they look on camera, and they feel like it's a bigger beast than it is. They're super stressed out about it, and they're kind of like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then you're starting to think of this concept, and then it starts drawing too much of your time. It doesn't need to be that way. We don't need to overthink it, people. Just get your friggin' face on a video and call it good. We want to create a connection. And honestly, our couples wanna see real people. They wanna see people who are true and authentic. They don't want to see all this pre-produced craziness. They're fine with a simple promo film. It doesn't have to be crazy. So I will show you, this is our current brand. So my ex-husband works for me. So he is the guy on the left. So he stayed with me in my rejuvenation. I put him in a bow tie just sort of as an FU to him. I thought that was kind of fun because he's super not that guy. But anyway, this is my current photos. My hair hasn't changed in the past year, so I have kept my hair. And so I know, that's kind of how I know when to do new headshots, is when I change my hair. So this is my current, these are like my, my core group of people that work for Serendipity. So that is our current brand. And then let me show you this.
I like homemade macaroni and cheese. I do enjoy Velveeta.
Fiance.
My husband does not appreciate puns, however, and so I've been put in charge of making the puns and having to laugh at them as well. I'm kind of a mac and cheese snob.
I love cartoon voices because it throws everybody off. Is there Johnny lives in South London? Addicted to caffeine.
New York City. I travel there as much as I can. I really want to move there one day.
I like the meal of the oat. Sorry.
What? Simon and Garfunkel. Spirit Fingers! I love Spirit Fingers. There's a million reasons, I think, to hire Serendipity. Obviously, I'm biased. It's my company. But our service is unparalleled. I think our storytelling is, bar none, head and shoulders above the rest. I think our cinematography is spectacular. I think that we just will give you an experience and a lifelong memory that's absolutely priceless. That is my passion. That is what I absolutely love doing. I love weddings. I love what they're about. I absolutely love every day what I get to do. I wake up in the morning and I'm so thankful that this is what my life is and that I get to be a part of something that's so special to people, being a part of documenting their wedding day.
There you go. So that is our promo film. That's a little longer than most. It's like killing puppies though. You know, when you're like going through everything, it's like, what do you take out? Like, because so much of it tells our story and I want people to connect with who we are. So that's definitely something, if it isn't on your top 3 list, I hope that maybe today it does become your top 5, because I know it does get a little cumbersome and it can be a little bit overwhelming. But do you see the value of that when you saw us talk and you saw the films and you saw kind of what we were about? The goal is that you were drawn in. You're kind of like, they're fun. Like, I like Beyonce. Like, oh, I love mac and cheese. And that's the goal that you guys are creating with your promo films. And ours obviously is a little bit more produced or whatever in terms of, because we obviously have a cinematography company, but any one of these professionals here would probably be willing to help you do that. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It doesn't need to be crazy. You saw ours wasn't scripted at all. We just asked questions. That's all that was. I didn't sit there and be like, so I want to say this. I had someone sit there and ask me questions so I could tell our story and tell about our business and about Serendipity and how we approach our client experience. But that's definitely something that needs rejuvenation. So this promo film's a couple years old, about 2 years old. Probably in another year, I'll update it again. But I really like this one, and I kind of feel like it's timeless. So I'm gonna hang on to it as long as I can, as long as I don't change my hair. But I'm pretty into the long hair right now, so we'll see. But I don't know, she has super cute short hair, and I've been noticing her all day. I'm like, she has really cute, should I do that? So the other thing, the next big thing about rejuvenation, creativity rejuvenates the soul. Have a passion project. Taryn Pollack, my new expansion strategist, that's my passion project. It's just something for me. It's just fulfilling. It really makes me feel great standing in front of you guys today. And when I sit down in front of, or with my different coaching clients, I love it. I love to delve into their business. I love to peel back the layers of the onions. I love to see that aha moment when that light bulb goes off for them. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't think about it like that. Like, oh, that's awesome. You need a passion project. Is it coaching? Maybe not. Maybe yours is you just want to do some types of florals that you've never gotten the opportunity to do before. Maybe it's more documentary type work if you're a photographer. Maybe it's newborn photos or whatever it may be. Each of us needs a passion project, something that just refuels and just gets the creative juices going again. This is by far the most important rejuvenation that you can do for yourself. It's something that doesn't make you a ton of money, but it's about doing something that you love and that you're passionate about and that you're excited about. Passion projects promote creativity, and they're good for the soul. We all need something that's good for the soul. Let's face it, weddings can suck the life out of you. Bitchy brides can suck the life out of you. Hostile emails can suck the life out of you. So we all need something that we can go to that just makes us feel good again, that reminds us of why we do what we do. They give you the energy to press on, because we all hit a wall. For me, it's about like May, beginning of May. I know I've got another month left, and I'm just kind of like, it's all I can do to just push myself through in that last month. It's so hard. And so, passion project, just that thing that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, and it gives you that energy to press on. Hire out for the things you suck at. So I've given you a lot of things that need rejuvenation. I gave you a whole list of things, and this one this week, and this one next month, and this one in the quarter, and this one next year. If you suck at it, don't do it. I suck at accounting. I hate it. Don't like the QuickBooks. I don't like taxes. I don't like any of it. And I found that it really was sucking the life out of me when it came to my day-to-day. So I'm like, what am I doing? The grief to dollar ratio is just too high here. I have so much grief. I'd rather just spend a few dollars to just eliminate some of that grief. If rejuvenating is overwhelming for you, find the elements that you can rejuvenate and get some help with it. Hire out to people that can actually help you with them. It's really about making sure that your time is valuable and it's being used appropriately. For me, my time is not good in dealing with accounting, and I just get pissed off, and I'm super irritated. So hire out for it. In my market, there's a lot of different wedding professionals that are actually really good at social media, and they've started helping other wedding professionals with their social media. You can keep them on a retainer for $200-300 a month. For some people, that's worth their while. And they're like, you know what? I'm not good at the social media. I don't want to learn how to, tweet. I don't want to learn how to Instagram. And so they hire out for it. A lot of these hires don't need to take a ton of money. You just need to prioritize, like, what do I suck at? And what do I need some help on? And that's going to help you continue to rejuvenate. Not having time for these rejuvenations is not an excuse anymore. The health of your business depends on them. If you do not rejuvenate your business, this is what's going to happen to you. You look like you're out of business. Everyone's going to begin to wonder, like, what's going on with her? Like, she doesn't blog, she doesn't have she doesn't have Facebook, she doesn't Instagram. Like, she closed up shop, which is never going to be a good thing for you. And you look super lame. You're super lame if you're not rejuvenating your business, because you're not cutting edge. And you know what happens to you? You become irrelevant. People stop caring. People are just kind of like, hey man, out of sight, out of mind. Oh yeah, I worked with her like 6 months ago, but I don't know what happened to her. She kind of fell off the face of the earth. And you know what happens? They find a different photographer. They find a different florist. They find a different photo booth. And there, your opportunity that you spent the last number of years really getting under your belt and really nourishing those relationships goes down the pooper. So it is not good for your business. Companies who don't rejuvenate don't book new business. We can't keep our doors open if we don't keep the bookings coming. And if you have old work out there, or you're not doing any submissions, or you're not in any publications, or you're not advertising, and you're not keeping the wheels of the bus moving, you're lame. You're super duper lame. Then this is what's always fascinating to me. I sat with a coaching client a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, so what's your goal? And he's like, I really just feel like my business is stagnant. It's not moving forward. And I just feel like it's been at the same level for the past 5 years. I'm like, great, this is a great goal to have. So where are you advertising? Oh, I'm not. Ding, ding, ding. Might be part of the issue. Are you doing any networking things? Nope. Well, you're not part of WIPA because I never see you there. Nope, not part of that. Let me take a look at your brand. How old is this brand? Oh, I started about 8 years ago. Have you updated? Nope. Okay, herein lies the problem. You're not advertising, you're not networking, you're not creating connections, you're not out there, not in publications, you're not doing submissions, you're not updating your brand, and you're wondering why your business isn't growing. Like, ding, ding, ding. Thankfully, that's why I have another element to my income. But I was like, really? Is this really the mindset? And I realized, yes, it is. It's not everybody knows these things. So that's the hope. When the leads aren't coming in though, you won't book business. Being busy is not an excuse for any of these things. We all are busy. If we want to move our business forward, this needs to be a priority for us. Rejuvenation leads to money. And isn't that why we're all doing this? We all want this to be our full-time job. We all want it to be lucrative for us, and we all want to keep pressing on and moving forward. Rejuvenation, while sometimes cumbersome, and in my situation, even painful, and I'm sure many of you, I shared my story because I know many of you have probably been through similar situations and difficult situations. While it's painful, it only means good things for my brand. Having your best work out there will do great things for your brand. It helps attract more couples. Yay, money. That's why we're doing this, right? I don't do it just for fun. And the big thing is it helps you attract the right couples. How many times do you have couples come to you and you're like, why are they calling me? Like, we're so not on the same page. If you are having that happen to you a lot, go back and take a look at what you're putting out there. What's in your gallery? What are your submissions? What's out there with your brand? Because if you're attracting the wrong couple, you probably are pimping out some obscure wedding that was just kind of a one-hit wonder, kind of a random thing, and you thought it was kind of cool. If you want to get more weddings like that, sure, put it out there. But if you want to attract the right kind of couple, you need to be putting the work out there that you want to bring back in. So you want to be attracting the right kind of couples. We don't do a lot of Indian weddings. We used to do every event under the sun. Bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, Indian weddings. Now I've drilled it down. I'm like, you know what? The bar and bats, they hate our finished product. We are very big on the storytelling aspect, and they don't like that. They like table shots. I don't do table shots, like not our thing. The Indian weddings, like just not my type of wedding. They don't like our finished product. So I've drilled it down. So I don't really put Indian weddings on my website or my blog or out there. I do like Indian fusion weddings. If they do the Hindu ceremony in the morning and they do the Christian ceremony in the afternoon, ding, 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 great spot for me. That's a wheelhouse for me. Awesome. So when you look on my website, currently on my blog, you'll see a same-day edit from a couple weeks ago from an Indian fusion wedding. And I made sure to write Indian fusion wedding because I do not want the straight Indian wedding. So it really helps me attract the right couple. If done consistently, it keeps the pipeline flowing. If you're constantly rejuvenating your business and you're updating your Facebook and your Instagram and you're looking at your brand and you're evaluating your processes, you're going to keep the pipeline flowing. All these opportunities only lead to more money and only lead to good things. So in closing, rejuvenation is necessary to maintain the health of your brand and keep it growing. Rejuvenation is going to keep you inspired. I can't tell you how inspiring it's become for me to have this other coaching thing going on. Just something that I just needed to take me to the next level, to give me the opportunity to be in front of you fine people today. We all need that thing that just keeps us going, especially if we end up doing a lifelong career in weddings. They chew you up and spit you out. So you definitely need that inspiration. So today, let's commit to rejuvenating 3 of the items I talked about today. I hope you wrote down all of them so they can be sort of a long-term plan, but let's just commit to 3 of them. Let's systemize our business so that we can actually make them happen. Put them into your workflow. Put them into your calendar. Make them an actual appointment in your day-to-day so that you don't blow it off, because the health of your business depends on it. So let's breathe new life into our businesses. Thank you very much to all of you for having me here today. Q&A. How can I help you guys rejuvenate? Here is obviously my name, my number, and my email if you guys think of things after I leave here today. But ask me questions. How can I help you?
I agree with the rejuvenation. I call it evolution.
I like that.
So it's the same thing. But you mentioned something, as a minister, if I'm not familiar with a tradition or a custom that the bride and groom are requesting, there's a thing I know a good rabbi, his name is Rabbi Google.
Yes.
So I go to Google, I find out about it, I learn so I can accommodate my clients. You're saying that you do not want to do bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, or Indian weddings. It's not your style.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, why not hire someone who does that style?
I'm a lot like In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger doesn't make chicken tenders. They don't have a McRib. They don't serve salads. They serve a damn good burger, fries, and milkshake. And that's what I want to be. It's really, honestly, it comes down to a choice of a business model. For me, I just want to make really good wedding films. I don't want to make bar mitzvah videos. I don't want to make Indian wedding videos. So for me, it's just a matter of drilling it down. We're just talking about a simple difference in business model. I totally could hire a crew that's going to rock it out with Indian weddings and that sort of things, and I could probably make that happen. But honestly, I just want to do what we do well, and so I've chosen to be In-N-Out Burger. Does that make sense? Cool. Mm-hmm. Yes.
As a filmmaker, what do you think, what's the most important thing that I should concentrate? I'm an event planner, but what do you love to see on those? Because it doesn't need to be a sales pitch, I'm sure. Is it just really...
On your promo film?
Yeah, if I was going to do one when I got back to Atlanta.
Authenticity. I really encourage you to be authentic. So when you guys look at our promo film, it starts out with me talking about the things I love. Like, I'm a huge fan of pink. I like sparkly things. I love macaroni and cheese. Like, I'm a huge mac and cheese girl. And so I'm just trying to show people who is Taryn Pollack. And one of my girls, Haley, she's my right-hand woman. She loves Beyonce. She's that girl who follows her around the country. And I actually had a bride request Haley to shoot her wedding because she also loved Beyonce. So what I'm trying to do in my promo film is create connections. And Sarah loves puns and jokes. So, we each tried to point out things that made us unique, that made us who we are. And so I'm really all about authentic and real. So when we went to go shoot our promo film, we had no vision. And I did that by design, because I didn't want to come out of the can and be like, hi, I'm Taryn Pollack. I shoot wedding films. Like, I didn't want it to be like that. I'm more of like a, what up, I'm Taryn. Like, let's shoot some wedding films. I'm just a lot more just open and direct and honest, and that's me. And so I wanted that to come across in our promo film. So authenticity and being real. I do not recommend that you script a promo film, because you are gonna do just that. Hi, I'm Susie. I'm from Atlanta, and I am a wedding planner. And then you don't create connections. I recommend if you guys love dogs, bringing your dog into your film. If you want your kids, to be in your film, have them be in your promo film. Whatever it is that makes you tick and makes you an amazing business owner, a wife, a mother, a father, a friend, whatever that is, that's what should be in your promo film. And I don't recommend that you script it. I recommend you come into it with an idea, with sort of this is kind of what I want it to do, but let it take on its own life. Because anytime I've ever scripted something out, the script has gone out the window and we ended up with something so much bigger and brighter than I actually thought it was gonna be. And that's a better way to be. People want authentic. They want real, and they want truth, and they want connections. So when you go home, I want you to be thinking about what makes you you, what makes your business unique, what makes you an amazing event planner, and I really want to shy away from service. All of us hopefully provide service. Everybody's going to say that. But what makes you awesome? Like, what is it that's different about you? So with us, when you look at our promo film, it's very focused on that we do a storytelling aspect. We have a lot of audio in our films, so that's what we really talk about in our film. So it's creating connections and really just being you. So think about 3 things that are super you, like with me, it was pink, things that sparkle, and mac and cheese. And for you, maybe it's your dog, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you have a green thumb. And so maybe that's the element. Does that answer your question? I'm very long-winded with my answers, but I try to be very thorough. Okay, yes.
A lot of what you're talking about it's on my list to do, but I'm just one person.
Yes.
So just do you have any advice for me? Because I did have a little bit more of a team in New York, and I moved out here. So I've gone on my Yelp page and changed things. Last week I wanted to scream. I spent like 40 hours trying to update my SEO, which is like a puzzle, because I can't really afford at this time to hire somebody. So I was just wondering if you had any like relocation tips.
Relocation tips, well, it's interesting because we have Southern California, Serendipity SoCal, and I'm also expanding down in Tucson right now, so I'm kind of doing what you're doing too, and to be honest with you, it sucks. Because here in Phoenix, I'm a juggernaut. Like I don't want to say I'm the game in town, but I'm the largest game in town. Like I got this. Like I got 9 years on you, so I totally had my deal. And then I go down to Tucson and I'm like, oh my God, like starting over. Like, oh, this sucks. But honestly, it's taking it one thing at a time. Because when we take the whole pie, when we look at the whole pie, we're just like, oh my God, that's just too much. Like I'm never gonna be able to do this. There's just so much. I'm never gonna gain traction. And then your fear sets in. And the fear then paralyzes you. And you can't look past that fear to be able to move forward. So you have to take it one step at a time. So take 3 things. And don't say that you're gonna do 3 things in one day. Maybe it's 1 thing per week. I'm gonna spend this week working on my SEO. Next week, I'm gonna get my Instagram done. Next week, I'm gonna work on my Facebook page. Next week, and so really just taking it one slice of that pie at a time, because otherwise we take on way too much, and then what do? We shut down. And then we walk away from all of it. And then you suck in Vegas, and you're not getting any traction, and you're not making any connections, and so we just need to take it one thing at a time, and that's what's gonna help you get a little traction, because think about it. If you do one thing, I love lists. I'm a huge person for lists. Check, like, yay, spirit fingers. Oh, spirit fingers, that's another thing in my promo film. Well, I am here for a little bit longer having lunch with you guys. So if you think of something and maybe you just don't want to say it in front of the group, come find me. You saw my name, you saw my number, you saw my email. Feel free to reach out for me. I can help you rejuvenate in a million different ways, or if you have questions on anything I talked about today on how to really integrate that into your workflow. But I hope that you've taken away some tangible items, some goals, and some ways to actually implement that into your business. And if anything, I just hope it gave you a kick in the butt to kind of get things going for you and inspire you. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another big round of applause for Taryn. Thank you so much. It's a very relevant topic for this spring wedding madness, like you said. So as we get engulfed in wedding season, thank you so much for sharing that. I actually just updated my Facebook. By the time I got to Instagram, I wanted to shoot myself, so thank you. And now, without further ado, please help me welcome WIPA National President, Kevin Dennis.
How are you guys? My name is Kevin Dennis. I'm your national president. I have the honor today of swearing in our 2015 Las Vegas board. But before we do that, I'm going to recognize a few people in the group. So obviously you guys saw Taryn. She's from our Phoenix chapter. She's the secretary. We have from our national board, Pauline Perry from Good Gracious Catering. She's our chapters in formation. And then we have Nahid Karoon is from Wedding Elegance by Nahid. And she is our director of education. And from the San Francisco Bay Area chapter, we have Lindsay Fogarty from Fantasy Sound. With me. So I'm going to let Andrea come up and bring up her board, and then we will swear them in. And then we'll get you guys to lunch as fast as we can.
How are you?
You got to call them up and make it official. No. Like by name, and you got to let everyone know who your board is.
I'm going to come this way because there's just no other ladylike way to do it. No, that's okay. Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, no, you just let everyone know who your board is.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say something. We've got some of our founding board members in here, and I can't not recognize them for the contributions that they've made over the last 6 to 9 months. We have Scheme Events, who actually served as our initial program chair and did a spectacular job. And they set the bar very, very high, and so we appreciated that.
And we also have our own local Dennis Silknoter, who originally originated the position of education. And you know, for somebody like Taryn to come up and talk about rejuvenating, I don't think that you can look forward without looking back. And so for me, it's really important that we just kind of take a moment for those people. In terms of the board, I'm ecstatic, I'm honored, I'm privileged, I'm humbled, and I am consistently impressed by the lovely ladies that we have up here with us today. So we have Delisa Cooper, who's from Alta Photography. She serves as the vice president at large and keeps me in check. We have Gabby Cote, who's our treasurer. She's currently out with the Hilton. We have Susan Moore, who is here with us from Bellagio. She is our secretary. Director of Education, Rebecca Stebbings. Our Director of Membership, Randy Garrett from Nikiti. Director of Programs, and I literally can't. I have nothing. Angelica is spectacular. She has flawless taste, and I am so thankful to have her with us from Green Orchid. Last but not least, we have Lucia from By Design. Did I say that correctly? Lucia. Sorry, I'm Italian. I want to throw a chut and everything. Lucia from By Design, and Robin Johnson, who is not with us today, is our Director of Sponsorship and responsible for all of the very beautiful, lovely things that we have in here. So I appreciate them. I appreciate everybody coming, and I appreciate Kevin in spring green.
All right, so you guys gotta raise your right hand. So we're gonna repeat after me. You guys ready? Here we go. I pledge to abide.
I pledge to abide
by the bylaws and principles
by the bylaws and principles
of professional conduct and ethics
of professional conduct and ethics
upon which WIPA was founded, and to uphold the integrity of the office to which I have been elected. I hereby make a firm commitment to support and advance the vision, mission and values of the association, and to put the needs and wants of WIPA members first and foremost in the execution of my duties. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your 2015 Las Vegas Board of Directors.